Fishing with a minnow can take many forms depending on the bait fish, target species, depth, and rig used. Spence Petros and Steve Panaz are well versed in the art of minnow fishing. Sit back and let these two walk you through some of the rigs and styles used for catching smallies.
You know, the word predictable and Spence Petros really don't get used that often, but this is a classic fall pattern. Mid-lake humps, Canadian shield waters, and big smallmouth.
You're right, Steve. It is a very predictable time on where to find them and how to catch them. What you're basically looking for is once that water hits about 55 degrees and below, they'll start bunching up on these spots. But you know, it's not always just a Canadian shield thing. If you live in Minnesota or Wisconsin or any of the northern states that have good smallmouth fisheries, it may not be rock humps related to the main lake basin. It might be flats. It might be points that have areas on there that are sharper breaking, that have ledge rock or boulders or some kind of snaggy cover. And that's where the fish will bunch up once that water gets down into the right range. And really the best way I've ever found to catch them is exactly what we're doing.
You know, one of the reasons live bait rigs are so popular is you can tailor them to just about any type of fishing. If you're fishing sandy flats in 35 feet of water, you go with a long leader, a certain size hook for the bait you're using or whatever. Spence has actually designed a live bait rig specifically for fishing smallmouth on shallow, rocky humps like we're doing right now. Spence, why don't you go through the live bait rig, talk about each component and why it's important.
Well, what I'm doing here, we'll start off with the reel. The first thing I do is I generally spool up with anywhere from 10 to 14 pound test fire line, because often we're fishing down 20, 25 feet deep, and with the no stretch line you get a good hook set. But the one thing you want to do is you want to put a core of monofilament line on your reel first. And I'll put a good 10 or 15 yards of mono, and then I'll put the fire line on tightly. And then I prefer like a long cast type spool because the line peels off easier, and you fill it about 1/8 of an inch from the end. Now we go down to the sinker. Now, even though sometimes we're fishing 10 or 15 feet of water, I may be using a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce sinker. The fall smallmouth are going to be on rocks, whether you're fishing humps or you're fishing points. Generally, if you're not snagging, you're not in the right area where the fish are. So I want to fish a heavier weight, and a heavier weight will allow me to fish more vertical. And if I'm fishing more vertical, I'm not dragging a long angled line through a lot of snags and getting hung up a lot. So I'm using a no snag sinker, a new sinker that's on the market. I'm fishing it as near vertical as I can, which is not straight up and down, but just a little bit of an angle. I'm using a heavier sinker like that. And then the final thing is I'm using a fluorocarbon leader. This is 10 pound test Vanish. And I'm not making a real long leader. Now, if you have a real long leader, what happens is the bait will tend to go down into the rocks. So if you have something too long, it'll get down into the rocks. I can control it more with a little shorter leader, and then when I pull it, I'll actually give the bait a little bit more of a jigging effect because of a shorter leader like that, if you want to. If you get hung on a rock and give it a little pull, or every now and then give it a little jerk. I'm using a Daiichi hook, generally a size 1/0 or 2/0, and rather than hooking the minnow underneath, I'm hooking them through the top lip like that to have a little bit more of the hook exposed for a little better bite. The other thing that's important too is when you're fishing, you have the anti-reverse on, you put your finger on the line like that for sensitivity, and you keep the bail open. All right, now the other reason I have the spool like this, other than to give the fish line on a hit, is if I'm coming down a drop off and all of a sudden it breaks down 4 or 5 or 6 feet, I can just quickly let out the necessary line like that till I feel that heavy sinker hit the bottom, and then re-grab the line again like that and just keep right on fishing. So the control it gives you is very good by using a heavier sinker, by being able to manipulate the line like that with your finger, keeping the spool open. Then when you get a hit, it's just a matter of closing it up like that, dropping your tip low to the water, and then when you feel that last little tap, 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 and then you come back with a good sweeping hook set. Now the one thing you've got to be careful, if you're using a no stretch line, I'm not doing the same kind of hook sets as I would be doing with a monofilament line. There it is! Hey, that's a bass.
How big is it?
I don't know. Oh, look at that, let him go, let him go. I wonder if that's a
All right,
northern.
Spence, I'm not giving you credit for that fish because you just
Oh,
dropped it to the bottom.
That was class.
You know what? We're on top of the hump here. We're 9 feet. These fish are moving
I
up
don't
in
know if
this.
this is a northern or what. I hope it's a bass. It feels very snake-like.
Could be a muskie?
No,
Not big enough?
it's a pretty good fish. I just want to see it. It's a heavy fish. It's a big bass.
You see it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready with the net here.
Whoa, man, it's strong. I saw a
Want me to
flash
raise
of
the
fish.
motor?
I saw a flash of fish and it was a bass.
I'll
I
bring
couldn't
the
tell
motor
if
up.
it was 4 pounds, 5 pounds, or 6 pounds.
Don't lose them.
No, I ain't gonna lose them. Don't push me over.
Not that
That's
I
my
would.
rod.
Not that I haven't thought about it.
All right.
It's about the same size as your other one.
Yeah.
That's a nice fish, Spence.
A couple of back-to-back 4-pounders.
Yeah, you're back boating me here. You know, that fish wanted it. He's not hooked in the throat, but he's hooked in the upper mouth
I mean,
there.
there was no goofing around.
No, he just ate.
It's funny, I just dropped it to the bottom. We put the one in the live well, dropped it to the bottom, and boom, my line started going out like this.
I saw your rod tip down to the
Yeah.
advance, and I thought you hadn't hooked that fish already.
I thought it was a small northern grabbed it or something in the beginning, but then, you know, it became very bass-like. Now, we were on top of the hump then?
Yeah,
Did you say?
we were up in about 9 feet of water right there.
Really?
What a difference a few hours makes. This morning we had fish down in 27, 28 feet.
And
not
barely
active.
hitting.
Yeah, they were grabbing the back of the minnow. We were missing fish after fish after fish. Now we've got good sun. It's late afternoon. This
Right,
water temperature's
right.
warming up, and these fish are moving up onto these reefs. And we're
heard
getting
that
some nice
before.
fish. Yeah,
It's
where have
just
I
like
heard
the
this before?
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like they're supposed to be doing.
Right,
I guess.
yeah, warm up in the afternoon, fish move up. As they move up, get shallower, they get more active. You know what, let's go catch some more of them. That sounds like a plan.
Got him.
Okay, there we go. Good one?
I can't tell yet. They're all good.
Some are better than others. He's jumping, he's
gonna
gonna jump here. Oh, it's a big one.
Hey, get the net. This is a good fish.
Okay, hold on.
Get him. He's right here. Ooh, that's a good fish, Spence.
Oh, that's another good one. Looks like it's about 2 ounces smaller than mine.
Oh, is that right? I kind of figured it was. I figured it
He
was.
chomped that minnow. Good, look at that.
I love getting them right
Wow.
here.
That's the place to get them.
That's the place to get them.
It's a nice bass.
It is.
Worth on that thing.
Spence, if you look at the fish, that's a big bass. That's a nice smallie. But you look at this sucker minnow, that's a big sucker minnow. Most people don't use baits that big. But when you compare the two, it makes a lot of sense. Big fish want big food, and this looks like a big bait, but in comparison with the fish, it's a bite size.
Right.
Well, I think you'll agree it's hard to beat live bait in almost any fishing situation. The options of bait and rigging styles gives you tactics for every game fish you'll target, including saltwater species.
Gotcha. You know, fishing live bait is extremely productive and deserves a place in all anglers' bag of tricks. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Complete Angler video series. What's more, I hope to see you again real soon.